G'day folks. Well, this video is for those of you who are wondering what happened to the compressor out of that Mitsubishi air conditioner. Well, the window unit that I tortured to death. The one that kept stalling with no fan, the one that turned itself into a solid block of ice, had half a ton of scrap metal piled on top of it, and still managed to retain its refrigerant charge and keep working. Well, it's been recovered and it's been scrapped. That was probably about 8 months ago, or whenever I did the final experiment on it. And I've had this old thing sitting around under the bench for a while, hence all the rust that's on it. So I figure it's time to throw the damn thing out, but I'm not going to throw it out without at least doing a final conclusion video on what happened to this poor old compressor. It's not happy. It works alright, but it just doesn't build head pressure anymore. I'm guessing it's probably to do with slugging and excessive temperature rise. So let's pull it to bits. It's a horizontally opposed 2-cylinder or boxer compressor, if you haven't already worked that out. Two horizontally opposed cylinders. Very typical of Mitsubishi compressors. My workshop's first air conditioner has one of these in it, and I still use it every now and then. It's a MW45EB series. So let's pull the heads off for starters. I'll pull the top of the motor cover off and go from there. Alright, slowly getting to pieces. You can see inside it's not too badly damaged. Bit of black residue from being flogged out though. The bottom bearing's worn but not unacceptable. Let's try and get these cylinder heads off now that all the screws are out. There we go. Okay. Oil coming out of the muffler. It's normal. The spring steel washer that obviously holds the valve assembly in there. Let's change hands with the camera. I'm going to get that valve assembly out somehow. Let's try this side. That worked. Yeah, same deal, we've got to try and get that assembly out, and I think I'm going to need 2 hands for it. And I've got the valve plates out, a bit of persuasion. And they're showing signs of abuse and wear, but they're not broken or stuffed. Same with the pistons. Got a lot of sooty build up on them and blackness, but not too bad. The bores have definitely gotten hot though, they're discoloured. Very short stroke on these. How can we get the rest of this out? I think the motor rotors on these are pressed on with a hydraulic press, so it's pretty much impossible to get the pistons out. But I'll have a look anyway. Take this metal cover off the end of the motor. I doubt I'll get the pistons out of it, but don't really need to. Just thought I'd show you what it looks like inside. It still spins nice and smooth and free. I think the only reason it stalled was because of excessive head pressure, and the motor thermal cutout just stopped the motor dead in its tracks. So that's about it. Alright, well it's got a nice chunky motor on it. I always knew these had a pretty high powered motor. No signs of burning or anything. It's gotten warm, but no harm done to it. So I'm going to have to connect it back up again and see what I can do. I'll try and run it with no heads on it and just free spin it till it seizes and crank it up till it pops. That's all there is to it. This thing's going to fry before I get rid of it. Just like the 20 or so air conditioners I've got outside, there's plenty of motors to fry. It's a shame I don't have 500 volt mains power to cook them with straight away. Problem with induction motors is they take ages to burn and they're rather boring, but this has got nice solid thick copper windings, so it should burn pretty well, even if I take the stator off and just power it up on its own. Alright, wired up to the panel, let's give it a test run. This is with no ballast. Yeah, working just fine. Plug the ballast in and find out what happens after that. Yeah, capacitor run motors do not like resistive ballast because it drops the voltage. The capacitor's just surging, it's doing a ripple thing. If I turn them all on, it's not too bad. I'll start turning them off. Nah, it stalls if I take off too many. Nah. Restart. Nah, it won't start now. Bastard. Let's position it a bit differently. Nah, not going to do it again. Oh, that's the thing about induction motors, they do not like any interruptions to voltage or frequency. They don't over rev when you overvolt them, but they still, particularly capacitor run motors like this one, I'm using a 50 microfarad run capacitor, they just start stalling and behaving erratically, as you saw. So next step, I'll just wire it back up to the mains and we'll see how much heat I can get out of this. The bearings are already burning up because there's no constant oil supply. Oops! I think she's frozen. Yeah, it's not happy now. Motor smoke. Wonder if we can free it up again. Yeah, she's hot. That seized bad. Pistons are still nice and oily, but the main bearings would have been dying. Yeah, I'll play with this later. It's getting a bit late at the moment. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.